Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. I've been good. I like the shirt. I feel like we both came out correct today to
Yep.
represent specific sides of the equation on this one. But I'm good, man. I actually I'm recovering well. I think I told Blair offline, but I sprained my ankle last week, which sucked, bro. Like there was a moment there that I was like, oh, the career's over, bro. Like the career is over. I was like, dude, how do I run a full marathon 3 months ago and then 35 to 40-year-old middle-aged men is what ruins my ankle from a basketball game? But luckily, it was just a really bad sprain, so I'm able to walk. I ran for the first time today as well, like less than a week later. So happy about that. But thanks to you as well. I saw Bad Boys Ride or Die, bro. Funny as shit. Funny
Nice.
as shit, dude. But corny though, right? Did you also have moments you're like, all right, this is corny, but it's okay because like we'll let you be corny because everything else is very enjoyable?
I think I felt that way the first maybe 20 minutes. I didn't feel that way so much the second half, but the first like 20 minutes, I was like, this might not be as
This may
good
not
as
work.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. So I was nervous again. I'm not gonna give away a certain part of the movie, but like there's a movie where Will Smith. This is like well into the movie, so that's like a reminder of like I agree with you because the most of the movie's done very well. But dude, there was a reminder that he was like to the white cop when they were at his boathouse when he was like, "Thanks for the drip," when he let him borrow his clothes. And I'm like, bro, you're a 55-year-old man. There's no need for you to say drip. Like this idea of like you being the young cop, it's like, bro, like stop, dog. So like stuff like that, it was like, bro, like you're not the young guy. But I think that also goes well with the overall storyline. But like Blair said a couple weeks ago, I highly recommend that movie, bro, because that movie came out 2 weeks ago. And bro, we went on a Saturday night for a 6 p.m. show and it was sold out. So like,
Oh wow, nice.
yeah, man, good for them. And like, people are still going. And like, yeah, I think but I literally like, you're like the fifth person, bro, who's seen it that I know. I've not heard one bad review yet. Like everyone like loves this movie, and obviously, Reggie's the low key MVP of the whole thing. So yeah, so everything good on my end, bro. How about you, man? How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Wifey's in LA right now, enjoying herself, so she's gonna be there
Nice.
for about a week.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So hung out with some friends on Saturday. We had a long ass day. Started off with brunch, then that transitioned to a brewery for like an hour or so. Then we went to like another spot to grab some food. Then ended at a bar. So it was a fun, eventful day. And then Sunday I basically took it easy, recovered.
Vegged out. Yeah.
And yeah, I ran this weekend as well, not outside but in the gym, which was nice. So definitely keeping that up as well.
Nice, dude. What was the highlight of the festivities? Was it brunch itself, or was it like any one point of that like a highlight?
Not any one point necessarily. Maybe brunch. I don't know. I had never been to that spot in Palo Alto.
Okay.
And it was just very. I won't say breakfast or anything was particularly, like above average, but I think the decor was like super beautiful. Like it looked like we were in somebody's mansion and they invited us
that's
for
dope.
brunch. Like,
That's dope.
I don't want to. Maybe not Diddy, but like the Jay-Z Rock Nation brunch or something. That's
Got
what
it, got it.
Like felt like.
Got it. Was it a brunch that you get after it though, and it's like bottomless and stuff, or is it more like tame?
No, it's tame. It's like
Okay.
more of like a family date spot type setting, which was like for my group at least that's like what we needed. The
Okay.
last thing because my boy Moon who was there, like if we're in a setting where you can get like liquor and stuff, like we'll get out of control super
Got
quick.
it.
So
Got it.
I was like, thank God it's only wine.
But I wonder if that's the
Champagne.
reason why then the lack of getting after it led to it being an all-day thing where you like eventually could like seek it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes when like the brunch is so intense, you're like, all right, bro, I'm going home. Like
Right.
I'm done. You know?
Right. No, we had to be strategic because his wife was like, oh, like what are these between these three places, which one you want to go to? And I was like, I don't know, but definitely not the restaurant because they serve liquor and like we're not gonna last. So I was like,
Yeah.
let's go to the brewery, take it easy. So it was nice. Yeah, we like hopped around all day.
Good shit, dude. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Let's get to it, bro. I feel like this is the longest rundown, even though it may honestly be like a couple topics off the bat. But this is going to be what, episode 183, episode 182, The Return of the Dawn. Talk about Don Tolliver is up everywhere. But episode 183, I feel it's only right. Home court advantage for you here. I'm going to let you kind of tee us off and let the people know what we're going to talk about first.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I think the most popular thing being discussed in hip hop right now is the Kendrick Pop Out concert, which has just been the talk of the town. I think unanimously people feel like Kendrick delivered exactly what the kind of performance we were expecting. So that's pretty much all that's being talked about within hip hop at this point in time. The fact that he came through and gave the people what they wanted. It seems like it's kind of the final nail in the coffin in this whole debate on who's big three, whether you're a Drake fan or a Cole fan or whatever. It seems like at this point, Drake and J. Cole haven't matched the amount of effort it seems like Kendrick has put into like proving his point and taking the crown. So yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited for hip hop as a culture right now.
Yeah, which is again a week after we're saying. I think one of the clips I posted today was like, "What's the state of hip hop? Do we have Drake and Kendrick fatigue?" So maybe we do, maybe we don't. Again, time will tell with that part. But to the question at hand, to the performance and everything. So I understand what everyone's saying right now, but let's like rewind like a couple of weeks because like I think you and I were probably one of the first platforms to kind of bring up the show, like, oh, like, are you excited? Are you gonna go? Kind of a thing. Like, did you, from what we saw, right? Because you watched it live. I watched it a couple days after. So did you anticipate this being such a talking point all over social media and all over hip hop culture? Like, did you think 2 weeks ago when you were debating about flying in or going to watch it, do you think this is going to bubble up to what it is today, a week removed from it, essentially?
I knew it would be a big moment. I just didn't think it would be this extreme, which is kind of weird to say because, I mean, there's been so much buzz around Kendrick and this beef in general, but I don't know. I guess I just felt like it would be hard to deliver a good show, like cater to the beef without making it seem like Drake is the focal point, and also have so many different artists be part of it, but have it still feel cohesive, especially artists who have like absolutely nothing to do with Drake. So like with all those question marks, I'm like, at worst, it'll be a good show and that'll be it. But I don't think I expected it to be like this massive to the point where like I even rewatched the performance like 5 times just because I was just shocked at how amazing it was.
So walk us through that, because again, you watched it live. I was able to watch glimpses of it live, but when the Kendrick part started, it was just going. I think the overall broadcast was like almost 3.5 hours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost 4 hours.
So like,
think,
and there was like 2 intermissions. I was like, bro, this is for someone who's not really trying to see this happen. Like, I can't really commit this much time. So I did watch the full thing though. Like I'm fully caught up. But you who watched it live, like, what was that like? Say after like the first like local no-name acts, which is so cool that he even gave those people a platform. So please know, like, we're not trying to diminish that, but like once the show got flowing, and then who was like the first real big name? Was it Blast?
I mean, I guess it just really depends on like what you consider big in terms of artists. I think for me personally, being from LA, I think West Side Boogie was probably
yeah, for sure, yeah,
the biggest one.
Did he come out with was he with Mustard or right before Mustard?
I think he was right before Mustard.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's part of DJ Head's set.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so from West Side Boogie onwards, you're watching this live. Like, what is your real life reaction at that moment?
For me, I mean, as a fan of a lot of those guys, I'm just having a blast, enjoying myself, not really overthinking it. Obviously, certain artists might not be playing the songs that I want them to play. Like for instance, West Side Boogie. He has a song called "Oh My," and I think that's like one of his more hype songs. Granted, not like crazy lyrical or like the stuff he puts out more recently, but um, beyond that, I feel like it was a nice mix of different West Coast artists building up until the Kendrick popped out essentially.
Essentially, for sure. So, did you think the performances of said artists were like again, I know live, bro, because I know obviously we were talking, and then I know social media, Instagram is losing their fucking minds like every time someone new comes out. But like in hindsight, like looking, was this more about like a moment in time or the actual performance? Because like when I watched it back, like dude, like the Tyler the Creator was a moment, right? But he did 2 songs and then dipped. Steve Lacy is like, bro, what are you doing here? Ty Dolla $ign was cool, you know, but like he wasn't really on that much. And like the Roddy Ricch was like a moment was great, but then I'm like, they really just want you to do like box and like, because there was moments like people weren't even dancing to Roddy Ricch. I was like, bro, like, isn't he like the hometown kid? Like, what's going on here? So like, do you think this is more about just like a moment in time that was pinnacle for like, or pivotal, sorry, for LA rap scene? Or did you actually enjoy the performances watching it live?
I actually enjoyed it. At least the artists that I was familiar with, like the first, let's say 3 or 4 people, you know, I just wasn't familiar with. And then they're using the loud backtracking, so I can't even hear what's being said. Come to find out, a lot of these people is their first time like ever performing for a crowd,
which is
that
dope.
massive or at all, which is dope. I think it's for a viewer who's maybe not from the West Coast or like has no idea what's going on and kind of wanted to see like just a really good show. Maybe those portions weren't as exciting. But I think in its entirety, it was really meant to be a moment for West Coast artists to all get their shine. Almost like I don't know if speed dating's a good analogy, but just like a quick, like, it's almost like a video game intro where like the character has their name flies across the screen and you get to see what superpowers.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
So that's what it felt like to me, like almost like a big ass character selection screen for the West Coast, as opposed to kind of being nitpicky with, all right, this person's set has to be perfect. They have to do like, you know, the best song that everyone knows or anything like that. So that's how I interpreted it. I was just happy to see them be happy and get their shine, essentially.
Yeah, no, for sure. Dude, that makes complete sense, right? I think as a non-West Coast viewer, I think there, even though like I'm fans of Roddy Ricch, Tyler, Kendrick, YG, Ty Dolla $ign, I thought J-Rock, I thought my favorite moment, like besides obviously not like us going insane, you know, like on some niggas in Paris shit 5-7 times at the end, I thought that J-Rock Kendrick moment was fire, right? When they did Win-Win, when they did a couple, they did like 3 songs together, right? I think they did Win,
Money Trees, and
King's Disease or King's something.
King's Dead.
King's Dead. Yeah. So like, I thought that was like, it felt like choreographed. It felt like there was like a sound check before that they wanted to sound good on stage together. But as a non-West Coast head, right? That's why I even put in the rundown, and we'll get to it. Like, is this bigger than the Drake beef, right? Because I think a lot of the conversation coming out of this is like, this is not about the beef. This is about the West Coast coming together and showing the world what we're capable of, which that's great. But as a non-West Coast person, like, I'm looking to get entertained, right? Like, it just felt like, all right, there's a bunch of people just running on stage. Hey, I'm gonna like kind of lip sync my my favorite songs that you all should know. but I'm really not. This is not gonna blow you away. And I don't, dude. It didn't make me go run and like, yo, let me download these 5 songs from said artists, right? So I think as a non-LA person, again, I might be in the minority here. It just felt like, what am I watching? Kind of a thing, right? And again, I'm prefacing this by saying I hate watch this, right? So when I say hate watch, for example, like I'm a huge Arsenal soccer fan, right? When I watch 2 other teams who I want them both to lose, that's hate watching, right? So I was hate watching this. However, it was just hard to get won over when I'm just like, bro, like this is, you're on stage for 1 song, right? Like the way that Instagram made, like I'm glad I watched it because you would think that Tyler was on stage for 45 minutes, bro. Like I was like, bro, it's fucking 2.5 minutes. I was like, dude, that's what we were losing our minds for. Again, I know it was a moment, and the idea of these big artists coming out for Kendrick is phenomenal. But as an entertainment aspect, I was just like, cool, you know? But I do get if you're from LA and these are all LA artists, one after the other, just coming through, like, bro, like, that's fire, bro. Like, if it was New York, like, dude, I'd be losing my mind as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just because, like, in this day and age, attention spans are a lot shorter, but I, in this instance, did appreciate people doing like 2 or 3 songs and then getting off, especially because if it was an artist I wasn't particularly feeling, that way they're off the stage regardless.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Like Steve Lacy
cool.
couldn't do more than those 2 songs. Like, bro, there's no reason for you to be here, but we get it. So like, do your 2 songs and get off the stage.
I mean, when he was on stage, it was clear to me. One, I didn't realize he was from the West Coast, even though I know he's done songs with a couple West Coast artists that are kind of like associated with Tyler. But that was the moment where I was like, okay, I get what's going on. This is like West Coast appreciation. He's just like getting everyone a shot, and it didn't seem like he really cared about whether or not the masses like knew who these people were, if the performance was perfect or whatever. It seemed like he was just like, these are the homies. Like, you either like it or you don't. You either understand it or you don't. And Drake's just like, you know, the final surprise or whatever, like that whole conversation.
So is that how you felt after like watching it back a couple times and even watching it live, that like this felt more like a LA unity or / West Coast, like not even, I would say tribute concert, but you know what I mean? Like putting on for the city kind of a concert, as opposed to, hey, let me just capitalize off this Drake beef right now and let me explain to you again why I'm like the #1 rapper. Like, do you think it was more leaning towards one way or the other?
I think it was definitely more West Coast appreciation. Because in all honesty, I don't think most of the people on stage really care that much about Drake or hate him. I'm sure some of those guys would have definitely taken a feature from Drake, you know, at some point if that was possible. So to me, I think it was more so, I think Kendrick probably feels like the West Coast has kind of, for a long time, been the less popular region within hip hop, even though I'd argue it's the least popular or one of the lesser popular ones, but more iconic ones, like just in terms of timeline.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I think Kendrick is just kind of, I think that is part of the sentiment he feels like the big 3 conversations coming from. Like, it's been so overwhelmingly Southern. And I feel like that's also why he's calling out Drake for aligning with the Future. It's like, you guys are just trying to capitalize on this Southern sound and count us out. And I'm going to show you that like the West is a force to be reckoned with. But at the end of the day, I'm not losing sleep over you. Like, it's still about us, kind of thing.
Got it. I can see that, bro. I can see that. And I'm not mad at that take whatsoever. So then back to the show itself. So we get dope performances, moments from, again, Tyler Creator was cool. I think it was funny. Like, he was surprised they even knew Earthquake. Like, again, like it almost felt like, why are you here, sir? You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, you guys actually fuck with me. So that was cool. I thought the YG one was cool. That was a cool moment. The Don Kennedy one didn't do anything for me, but again, I don't resonate with him as an artist. Was that a cool moment for you, him being on stage? Like,
yeah, it was. And surprisingly, like, my cousin was kind of person who I wouldn't say introduced me to Dom Kennedy's music, but he definitely was a fan of him, and I wasn't particularly into that kind of like lazy or laid back flow. But
Yeah.
then the more I heard Dom Kennedy and him doing stuff with Kendrick, like that was a song, one of my favorite songs of his. So again, it's kind of like, an acquired taste, like you're familiar with it, so you have more fun because you know the song. Like you're like, oh shit, I recognize that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, dude, I totally get it. So again, so now we get to Kendrick. He comes out to Euphoria. Then he plays a few, I mean, it's all bangers, right? It's all bangers, not stop. He brings out Dr. Dre. They do one of Dre's most famous songs. And then Dre kind of sets this off when he does I See Dead People, that intro to Not Like Us. And then Kendrick plays Not Like Us, like really like 3.5 times, but technically I think 5 times is the official count. So your thoughts on just Kendrick's performance, like of everything, like how he handled everything, how he did all that stuff.
It's phenomenal. I mean, I have very little criticism of it. I think the fact I'm glad he didn't use backtracking, because I think that kind of would have been like a cheat code in this instance. And these songs are very difficult, or in particular like Euphoria and stuff.
It's a hard song to do live.
Switch ups.
Yeah, it's a hard song to do live.
And he did. I'm sure you caught it. A lot of other people caught it. He did fumble a couple times. Like I think he skipped an entire verse, which is actually my favorite part of Euphoria, which is the Daft Punk bar. Like somehow he skipped over it. But he caught himself and was very good at improvising and like making it, just keeping the show going. So
sure. I
mean, as an artist, like it's gonna happen eventually. But yeah, I thought it was very impressive. I feel like he did all the songs that he should have done and that people wanted to see. It seemed like he was having a lot of fun, which is dope. Like I'm glad he didn't come across too serious or too disrespectful by having like Drake's parents on the screen or some shit. Like he just kept it moving, kept it music, and it seemed like he was just having fun at like a block party basically. So I think that move was a very smart strategic move.
Yeah, because you can say, if you're on the Drake camp of this, right? So you could say, damn, bro, he did the song 5 times. How are you not? But again, this could have been way more disrespectful, right? This could have been way more disrespectful. And my thing is that as a Drake fan, we know Drake has been way more disrespectful, right? With the, I think he did the same exact thing to Meek Mill, bro, with like playing back to back multiple times at OVO Fest. And then he definitely had like pictures and memes as background stuff, right? So like Kendrick could have made this way worse, right? Even though I do think this probably hurt Drake's feelings more than whatever Drake did to Meek Mill, right? Because like you almost like expect Drake to do shit like that because it's memes, it's funny, ha ha ha. But when it's like this like godlike figure in hip hop and Kendrick, right? And all he has to do is just not even sing along and the crowd is doing all the fucking work for you. I know that had to like kill fucking Drake inside, bro. There's no way watching those last like 20 minutes of the show, you're not just like, bro, fuck. Fuck.
Especially because like, I think no matter how much money Drake has, it just like any human being, I'm sure he wants to be accepted by the culture, and to see like all these tough dudes on stage from all different, gangs and things like that be smiling up there, dancing, everyone chanting the lyrics. Like Kendrick knew people were going to be singing the lyrics and dancing around, and all his enemies would be in the crowd and stuff. So there really was no need to take it further and have like
a double, triple down
on
or whatever.
The screen.
Yeah.
Like, and if anything, it would have fed into the narrative that like Kendrick needs Drake to revive his career and all this shit if he just took it, like if he overdid it. So I'm glad it wasn't just like a Drake hate fest. It came across more like a West Coast love fest kind of thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, I was, before going into it, only seeing the stuff I saw on social media, right? you would think, like when people were saying online, oh, this was a LA love fest, right? And I was like, I don't know, bro. Like, you do that song fucking 6 times or whatever at the end. You have all these people on stage laughing. You got fucking Rick Ross on the side, just, you know, wishing he can go on stage or some shit. Like, I'm like, I don't know, man. But when watching it, I feel I get your point. Like, I get that take, right? It was definitely, bro, because it would be one thing if like all those artists before Kendrick at the end are like, yo, fuck Drake, by the way, right? Like that never happened, right? It was all about just, I'm super grateful for the opportunity to be on stage. One love, everyone. Shout out to K Dot, kind of a thing, right? So I'm all good with that, dude. However, I want to go to the friends in Kenny and Friends, right? Mm-hmm. Bro, LeBron James, DeMar DeRozan, bro, scumbags, bro, like scum of the earth, bro. And I was about to go off on YG, but dude, I peeped YG when he got on stage, like for like the Not Like Us part. Mm-hmm. He wasn't too enthused, right?
He was kind of just
yeah. So I'm gonna give him a pass. I'm like, all right, cool, bro. You just played it cool, you know. I respect that, dude. But bro, LeBron James losing his mind on the side to that shit. Fucking DeMar DeRozan, bro. The only reason why I'm saying is this, bro. Like, I think I told you offline, bro. Drake and LeBron have like business ventures, bro. Like they've been.
What is their venture?
What was that?
What is their venture?
It's the so you know he has the Undisputed, like that's like his brand where like he does like films and shows and different things. Yeah. So he has Undisputed Canada, and that's like where like him and like Drake came together to kind of make that go viral over there. But bro, just a bunch of things, bro. Like every time you see LeBron at like a fucking basketball game, he has like Drake like dapping up. So just the idea of that, bro, like you shouldn't give anyone the connotation in any kind of capacity that, yo, I might be with this guy and not with you. And then, bro, DeMar DeRozan is a fucking dick rider who was in Toronto living off Drake's fame for 7-8 years. And then, bro, get the fuck out of here, bro. I'm glad DeMar DeRozan never won a championship ring. And the moment they traded him, they fucking won a ring, bro. So Drake has a ring and he doesn't. That's a beautiful thing right now, bro. Because, bro, that was those two people at that fucking, like, when they were all losing their minds, bro. If that would hurt me more than any, like, dude, than the crowd singing A minor and all that shit, bro. Like, if I was Drake, I'd be furious at those two dudes, bro. Because that was crazy to me, dog. Like, that was crazy to me.
So I don't know too much about DeRozan, but like with LeBron, so I mean, it's been documented that he's been a long time Kendrick fan. Allegedly got damn like 2 weeks before or whatever. I mean, LeBron's always like hopping on whatever music is hot at the moment, but
some would say Drake does as well.
Yeah, but like in the case of him being at the concert, like, is there any leeway given him being like an LA hero, similar to how like 21 Savage is like not picking sides and he's gonna work with Metro and Drake regardless of how disrespectful they are to each other?
Yeah, but dude, that's different though. So like 21 came up with Metro, right? So like that, they won a Grammy together, bro. So like I can get that's like your working partner who you have like long lasting like relationships with, right? You're a fucking fanboy for LeBron, right? You're strictly, your relationship here is just, I'm a huge fan of your music, bro. But like, if I'm your boy, dog, this is not even a conversation, dog. Like, that's my thing, bro. This is not even a conversation, bro. Like, again, it's almost like the irony of it, bro, is like what Kendrick was accusing. So my issue with the Not Like Us, like nonstop at the end was like, and again, everyone, I agree with the whole, like, this is like a West Coast thing, but it felt like the shit that Kendrick was making fun of Drake on Not Like Us, as far as like, you know, going to Atlanta and like kind of just being like a groupie, right? Bro, they looked like, at moments, it looked like groupies. Just like, oh, this is the popular thing now? Cool, I'm all in. Not Like Us, right? Like, again, that's why even with YG, I'm like, bro, like, my man name checked you in a diss track, and then you're gonna be out here, whatever, 3 weeks later. Like, again, that's fine. Like, that's shame on Drake for even thinking they were close to that level, right? He's probably an idiot for that. But that felt like groupiness, right? Especially from like DeMar and like the NBA players that have this has nothing to do with you, bro, right? And you guys have pledged allegiance as one dude for years, and now this is the popular situation. So now you're like, nah, fuck that guy. It just seems odd.
Groupiness, even though, well, I would say the difference is with Drake's scenario, it's like you're not even from here. So whereas these guys are from like Long Beach or LA or whatever, but you're saying they wouldn't have been this invested if it wasn't the cool thing to be a part of?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't think so. I'm talking about those specific cats. Right? I'm saying YG, everyone on stage, bro, is like, I feel like that is like their moment, right? This is our guy, our arm around him. Like, bro, he said if he goes to the top, we all go with him. Like, bro, I love all that shit. But like, it's the LeBron specific and like the DeMar specific, like just in this, I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing there? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? So yeah, man, that part just like rubbed me the wrong way. Cause I'm like, bro, you're being a groupie. This is like the fun, exciting thing, right? Like who wants to be the person at the party that's like, yo, don't play Not Like Us. That's my boy's song, right? It takes fucking courage to do that, right? It's easy to go on stage and just have fun. That's the easy part. Right? It takes courage to be like, nah, like I'm good. Like the 21 Savage thing is like, that takes courage to be like, nah, that's my guy still. Right. And it's just odd that like those two characters, specifically LeBron, bro, because DeMar, again, I know they had a relationship for like 6 years when he was in Toronto, but like the LeBron one, bro, this is going back to like 2009, bro. Like this is not a fan of each other's work, and this is like, yo, we're boys and we've broken bread, and I've helped you, you helped me, and now because what you happen to be an a Laker, well, no one really fucks with you because you're not Kobe anyway. You just want to pop up and like fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I mean I definitely get that sentiment because like if I was there, I'd happily fucking go on stage and crip walk for 20 minutes to Not Like Us. But like it just is what it is. Even if I was like remotely involved in anything related to Kendrick, but I think that's why it's hard for me to also know like, you know, how it looks from the perspective of people who know like Westbrook or whatever. Because I'm like, for all I know, Westbrook grew up with fucking Kendrick's best friend or some shit, and he's known him forever. So I was like,
well, I know Kendrick, so that, my bad. I know for the Westbrook part, bro, there's also been videos of like, apparently he's never fucked with Drake.
Okay.
Ever. So, but I also know there's things of like Westbrook being like boys with Nipsey. So I think that I believe in that, bro. And again, I don't not believe that DeMar loves LA and wants to be on stage to rep his city. I also agree with that. But it's like, bro, like that's tough when like the moment you want to go up and rep is for the song that's dissing your boy. Like that's the issue, bro. Like you just being there wanting to be a fan because it's LA and like this is an LA moment, phenomenal, bro. Embrace that shit. But it's like you're literally so excited at the moment your boy's getting dissed. And that's just the part where it's like, bro, fuck out of here, bro. You're a groupie. This is like, no one talks about you in the NBA anymore. So let me figure out a way to make myself relatable in some kind of way, like relevant and stuff. Like that's what it feels like, bro. But again, small part in a bigger matter. So no issues whatsoever. So from this, I think Kendrick went immediately to the streets of Compton and started filming the video for Not Like Us. So that's finally dropping. I think we were hinting at like, you know, it's surprising that this video is not out yet. So there's been clips of, I think YG is going to probably be in the video. Fucking all of Compton and LA is going to be in the video from what it seems. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see a cameo appearance from Bobby Adolf. So last name? Adolf? Bobby Hitler. In the video, which I can only imagine is going to be some kind of spoof of the Drake Bobby interview. I can only imagine.
I would hope so, because if it's just Bobby Altoff, you know, sitting in a lowrider or something, like it doesn't really support Kendrick's whole claim that Drake's like a culture vulture or whatever, because you can't do that and then just bring some trendy pop, or not pop, but trendy white girl into your music video and have it serve no like real creative purpose. So for me, I'm just hoping this music video has like funny, maybe subliminal stuff thrown in here or there. Because if it's just them jumping up and down with 500 people in front of like a big ass palm tree in Compton, then I don't think we need 4 minutes of that. But snippets of that, cool. But like, let's have it be different than what we saw on stage. Like, not just
right. And make it up. So in our defense,
homies.
all we've seen in their defense, sorry, all we've seen is those snippets of like,
right.
We don't know if there's like a whole nother scene where again there's a green screen and they're like acting and whatever, right? All we know is just them outside going crazy and losing their mind. Yeah, but the Bobby thing is going to be very interesting, dude. So where do you think we go from here, man? So now we have this, right? I think Kendrick's on a high, right? I mean, again, we probably thought Not Like Us. I mean, we figured it'd be a summer banger. I was hoping it wasn't going to be, but it also seems like that momentum is not dying down anytime soon, right? Especially with this video about to drop. So where do you think he really goes from here?
I'm actually not too surprised. I knew he was gonna prolong it by doing something. Obviously, never anticipated the concert, but wouldn't be surprised if the music video comes out like around July 4th time, maybe even a little later, and that'll prolong the song another whole month and prevent Drake from really having time, or anyone else, to create a summer banger to overshadow it. But in terms of where we go from here, I think this will be the last thing we hear from Kendrick anytime soon. And at most, maybe an album announcement after that. But I feel like he's just gonna lay low, take his W and wait for Drake to call him out again in any meaningful way so that he can come back with more. But I doubt anytime soon Drake's gonna be on that type of time, just because it just wouldn't make sense. But I think Drake's gonna get back to it. I just don't think he's gonna do any of the typical like 21 Savage hardcore I'm the shit type tracks. I think it's gonna be on the more pop neutral side, no name dropping, and just purely like musical.
Okay, so this is where I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree. That's what's gonna happen. So this is my thing. I think like even going to this concert that we just witnessed, which was again, I think, what would you rate the concert overall? 10 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10?
I'd say a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As a moment in hip hop, 9 out of 10. Probably out of a moment for LA West Coast hip hop, fucking 15 out of 10, probably, bro, because like that was crazy. Even though, bro, I will say this, there was moments that I love the way they filmed it, but bro, there was also moments that like I kind of wish you couldn't see maybe these fucking 4K cameras are just crazy. But bro, you could see the crowd too much, bro.
Yeah,
so like I felt bad because there was artists like really dying out there to perform, and people were just like,
yeah. I mean, granted, some of the artists, like it's kind of their fault. I can't recall exactly who, but I'm like, these dudes look like they were forced to perform. And I know it's a lot of it's just lack of experience, but yeah, I did catch glimpses of the crowd, and it did kind of like bring my mood down a little bit because I'm like, damn, like you should be.
They're not vibing. Yeah.
But they're all there. I mean, not all, but I'm sure a lot of these people were like TikToker type kids who just wanted to be there for Not Like Us.
Yeah, bro. Like we can. I think it's safe to say. Let me know if you push back on this, but we can also agree that this is not a stadium full of like black kids from Compton. This was like there was a bunch of white kids. There was some Hispanic. Like there was like a variety of things, bro. Like we can. Like I know there was like we wanted this to be like a whole Juneteenth moment, but like, bro, that was an only Juneteenth concert. Like, yeah, that didn't happen. But again, it was fire though. So I would say again, I agree with you, 9 out of 10. And again, I think for the culture of especially West Coast culture, 15 out of 10. But the same way that Kendrick did Not Like Us multiple times, right? As like almost like history repeating itself for Drake when he did the same thing to Meek Mill, right? I do think there's a chance here that history repeats itself for Drake in this situation, similar to when Nas, and I keep bringing up this analogy, bro, because this is the closest thing we've ever had to this, when Nas went at Jay, right? Bro, so I still stand by the fact that Family Matters, as far as a diss track, is the best diss track in this whole beef. Like, do you agree with that, or do you think Euphoria is the better diss track? Or Not Like Us?
I guess it define best, because Family Matters, I think, is definitely one of my favorite of the entire beef. But when you say best, do you mean like most effective, or like just sounds best or playable? Like
I think just like as far as like lyrical, like on some like, hey, like these bars as a diss at you and whoever just hit better, as opposed to like this is the catchiest song. Do you know what I mean?
me
Like
personally, yeah. After everything now, I think Euphoria is my favorite lyrical
okay.
one. I just think Drake didn't go at Kendrick enough in Family Matters, even though I love that song and replayed it a billion times. I think in the context of this battle, like everyone else that he dissed, I would say it's the best diss if we're talking about Rick Ross and Weeknd and shit.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, again, but to my point, I think Family Matters is still my favorite out of everything, right? And then Not Like Us a close second. But I remember to the Nas and Jay-Z stuff, for those who weren't around at that time or into music, bro, like, so Nas dropped Ether. A lot of the pushback that Jay-Z fans had at the time was like, bro, it was a lot of lies, right? Like, bro, like, what are you saying, bro? Right? But at that time, dude, Jay-Z was the king of New York, king of hip hop, right? And a lot of people just quickly were like, yo, we all love a fucking underdog story, right? Like, and again, we may want to call them the big three or whatever it is, but going into this beef, it's clear who the number one top rap artist is, right? Like Drake, by the numbers, there's no comparison here, right? So by the numbers, Kendrick is the underdog, right? Like the people's champ. Would you agree with that? Like here to take out the big bad whoever who's kind of just like winning, but like we don't really fucking like you, kind of a thing, right? So
yeah,
I say that to compare it to Nas because, like, bro, that's what Nas was, right? He was always the guy who came out with a fire one album, but then never really lived up to the hype. The public never truly embraced him, but hip hop loved him. And then, bro, he got his one shot to fucking knock out Jay-Z, and he dropped Ether, bro. And people lost their minds. Bro, Jay-Z came back with an even better diss track on Super Ugly, but the people didn't want to fucking hear it, bro. They were like, nope, Ether's better. We're good. And then Jay-Z just went away for like 7 months to a year, bro. And then he came back. And I'm not saying this is exactly what's going to happen for Drake, but bro, like, because I know a couple of times you've mentioned also online, like the whole idea of the big three and, you know, Kendrick being on top. Bro, I'm not convinced personally, based off what we see and also letting history be a lesson, that this is the end of like, who is the king of rap, bro? Because I feel like this is just a moment and you have to respect the moment and just like take a step back and be like, all right, man, like Kendrick's on top today. But I don't know if, dude, God willing, we have like 10 years left of these guys making music, or at least 5. I don't know if the history is going to say, all right, because Kendrick delivered a great blow in May of 2024, that now he's the number one guy when we talk about these two rappers. Like, I'm not there yet, and not even close, bro. I feel this is more like, cool, this is a moment. The industry may be over Drake being on top, just like they were over Jay-Z being on top. Let's have a new guy kind of run with that crown finally, right? We can finally crown him the people's champ as everyone's champ. But bro, I'm not convinced that this is it and like he's the guy now, because bro, I kind of think if that's the case, we're probably going to be closer to being disappointed in the kind of music we get future from him than like excited about, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think that we're at a point where like it's clear that, all right, Kendrick's the number one guy, all that shit's over with, and now we'll just go back to making our separate music. So, like, again, I'm not saying they're about to like start dissing each other, but I'm not at a point where I'm like, all right, Kendrick is clearly number one and we're done with that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think like this is the end all be all or Drake's comeback is off the table per se. I just think in the very near future, it would be a poor chess move to try to like defend himself right away. But I feel like Drake also is not the type to like want to disappear. So
yes,
I feel like that's why he's going to do the generic work with this pop artist and that pop artist, like not Wagwan Delilah level. Cause I think that was, still don't even know why the fuck he did that. But
isn't it wild that we also stopped talking about that immediately?
Yeah.
Like, bro, it was like, it happened. It was like, bro, that didn't happen. That did not happen. Like,
I mean, people were still convinced it was AI. They were just confused. And like, it had nothing to do with anything. So I think it just like was old news very quickly. Um, but I think the difference between the Jay-Z and Nas analogy is, I mean, Drake has some serious accusations that, like, it's such a weird thing to try to defend, that it kind of makes you look crazy. So I think, um, unfortunately, that'll be like a running joke for some time, where it's like Jay-Z being ugly or whatever, having DSLs, like
Yeah,
that's
camel
just like
nose
high
or whatever.
school fucking disses that will kind of go away. But I mean, Drake can definitely come back. I just don't know what that would look like, because he has the numbers and a huge fan base. I just don't know what angle, like if it's him just being a top streaming artist, like I think that's a given. But if it's him taking the crown, I'm just curious, like what angle could he even come at from this point? Because it seemed like he already attempted like the most damaging like route to take with Kendrick, but that like kind of fell flat.
No, so I think it would have to be right, because it's not like when Jay-Z took the crown back for being the king of hip hop, it wasn't because he dissed Nas again, right? If anything, it was the opposite. They fucking became like best friends, right? So I don't see these two becoming best friends. Like, dude, I would honestly hate that if that ever happened. But I think it's more so not the streaming, bro, just simply the merit of your work, right? Like if we get a classic fucking Drake album, right? That's like, bro, this is fire. Then I think we just start talking about, all right, cool. Like, all right, the guy's back, right? Like, cool. Like, let's just enjoy his music. Whereas, yeah, I don't think he's gonna like swing at Kendrick again, right? I think it's more so just delivering quality music, and then you start looking at bodies of career, and then you're like, nah, I don't know. Yeah, that was a cool moment for him. The same way it was a cool moment for 50 or a cool moment for Nas, but in the bigger scheme of things, who's the artist that you truly went to listen to or fuck with more often than not? I think history proves that's the conversation when these guys are long and gone and not dropping albums every other year, right? Like we're not remembering what happened this fucking summer of 2024, right? Again, I might be wrong. This might be the one time that happens, but usually that's not how these things play out.
Yeah. I mean, in the case of Kendrick and Drake, versus Jay-Z and Nas, I would say they're a lot more similar than not in terms of like their mass appeal. The way I see that happening faster with Drake coming back is if Kendrick like once again decides, hey, I'm gonna be gone, like this is your shit, I already did what I wanted to do, and you can just be dropping shit constantly and charting and everything, then I think the perception can much more easily change. So like, see, Drake's still around, like he's pumping out hits and classics and stuff. But if they're still kind of going head to head and Kendrick's like now all of a sudden inspired to
drop every year,
to drop another classic like every year or whatever, and have stuff that's charting as well, I think that's gonna prolong Drake's like mission to get back to the same level of respect that he had like 6 months ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, but there's another story here that, I mean, again, the likeliness is not, because I think besides Mr. Morale, I think for the most part, people look at Kendrick's catalog and see no L's, right? Like they just see flawless bodies of work. But there's also a situation here that he drops his next album and no one fucks with it whatsoever, right? Like you could have Not Like Us on that album and still have 14 other songs that no one cares about, right? So yeah. I think there's also like I think it's only beneficial for Drake to fall back, which again, there's a rumor that he's dropping a song with Camila Cabello like at some point this summer, and it's like, bro, like, can you not, man? Like, can you just, because I think Wayno said, I think we've been saying this, bro, for weeks, so I'm not even giving credit to someone else, credit to ourselves. Like, everything you do is going to look corny. Everything. So like, just don't do anything, bro, and kind of just let this play out, right? Like there might be an opportunity here. This guy drops an album, fucking flops, which again, it's possible, right? Like, again, I'm not saying Mr. Morale was a flop, but for the most part, like no one's really, dude, like no one went back to listen to that fucking album besides like 4 or 5 songs. So like, again, even though that doesn't define flop, but it still helps the narrative that Drake's been pushing. Like, dude, like no one really goes back to listen to your shit. So like, how big of a rapper are you if no one really cares after the first week, right? So I don't know. I think this one you have to give time, but just from like my standpoint, like only because we've seen this before, I don't think this is like a 50 Cent a Ja Rule knockout punch, right? Like, dude, like Drake is the closest thing to Jay-Z that we've ever had in music, right? So I feel like it's gonna take more than a really hot summer or a hot 6 weeks to truly make us like, this guy's like, oh, I'm done. I'm not even gonna utter the words I'm the best. Like, dude, I feel very confident that when he comes back, hopefully it's in a year or something, that he's still thinking I'm the number one guy and cool, this guy had a moment, good for him, but that's not really what this is.
I still think the tricky thing is, like, even though they're similar in a lot of ways, I think this whole idea of the best is just a complicated label, because I think a lot of people would agree Drake's like a better, I don't know if you want to call it entertainer, or like more versatile in his melodies or whatever, but I think Kendrick's like the better lyricist if they're going head to head. So like, for instance, I've seen in like Drake Reddits, they're like, oh, Drake's reached like 1 billion streams on like Controlla or some shit. I'm like, that there's no fucking song that Kendrick has that is remotely like that. So why is that even relevant to the conversation? I don't know. I just feel like there's playing two different games, and people are using different like metrics to
you do. Like, it's almost like
saying
sports.
This nigga got, like this person got 50 home runs, but this one got has like 50 assists or some shit, and it's like there's two different things.
Yeah. It's not apples to apples. Like, you can make the numbers. I mean, you probably know this from just anything would work, bro. Like, if I want to prove my case at work, I can make the numbers look a certain way. Like, I can justify, like, it's a story you put behind the numbers, right? So I get that. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like, because I think, again, I did my best. I don't know about you, bro. It was kind of hard because, pause, no Diddy. But because the show was a week ago, essentially, or 5 days ago. So when I was before jumping online today, dude, Budden already had an episode ready to go about. And I'm like, I was trying to like really not listen to anyone so we would have a clear thing. But like, bro, people really think like this show, again, yes, it's an LA unifier, but they also see it as the confirmation of the dismantling of Drake. And like, that run is over. And I'm like, bro, I would again, if that's what you think, cool. But I really do think history would tell you that's not what this was. Like, and again, and it's hard for me to believe that when, again, not to pull up the numbers or whatever, people still listen to Drake, bro. Like, it's not like people stopped listening to Drake. So like, that didn't happen, right? So I don't know, time will tell, but I think we both agree the best move for him, being Drake, is to just fall back. Like, you have to fall back, bro, because you can't assume that people are still going to find your antics entertaining when like it's going to come across corny, and then you may drop some entertaining music, but we still look at you as corny as fuck for like the antics leading up to that music.
Yeah. No, personally, I think he got complacent these past few years. And I feel like this is, for Drake fans, should be considered a good thing, because if he's now like the underdog, like, I would imagine, given he's not the type to retire or disappear forever, that it's going to make him try even harder, hopefully be more vulnerable, and just come from a place that's like, undeniably, you can't ignore the fact that he's talented and like needed as part of the industry. Yeah, that's like the only way I see him coming back. If he comes back on some, when I see you, I'm a pull out the blicky and all kinds of shit, it's gonna land flat. I think he has to be vulnerable, but like in a swaggy way, and just be like, I'm still here, kind of thing.
Yeah, bro, 100%. Yeah, we're aligned on that one, bro. Speaking of not swaggy, like, bro, like, when Kendrick brought out the shocks, bro, even Gina was like, is he wearing Nike shocks? I'm like, yeah,
Budden brought that up.
He's just a wild boy, bro. That's like the second time he's done that, though. He wore like a blue and black version of that to the Grammys. But he's never been like a fashion icon, bro. That guy he wears whatever the fuck he wants. When I saw him do the surprise appearance for Baby Keem at Coachella. Yo, he was in fucking cowboy boots. Like, bro, like he don't give a fuck, bro. Like he doesn't. Yeah. That's why it's funny in that line in Euphoria when he's like, I don't like the way you dress. It's like, bro, like who likes the way you dress? First of all, but like I don't think he cares. Like I think it's just funny to him. Like it's just funny.
Yeah. I think for him, he like literally doesn't care, and I think he sees Drake as like trying to be like a fashionista or some shit.
Something. Yeah. Something for sure. Anything else on the Not Like Us / Kendrick and Friends, or anything that we should? Because I feel like we kind of touched like everything on that. But
yeah, no, I think we're good on that one.
Okay, so that was that. We brought up Drake dropping a song soon, allegedly. Hopefully he like just says, listen, I can't promo this, so just drop if you want to. Shout out to Don Toliver going #1. So we've been talking about him for the last 2 weeks. Apparently everyone listened. #1 album in the country. So shout out to him. I think it might be his first #1, to be honest, as well. So that's a great look for him. So what else, bro? Anything else we should jump into? You had something about the game. Do you want to talk about that at all or no?
Yeah, we could briefly talk about it. I mean, he didn't. I think it's more about like the West Coast legacy. So he didn't show up to the concert. Speculation is he wasn't even invited. And he was on Instagram, went on a long rant, like explaining why, but you know, one of those rants that doesn't ever do what it's.
Oh, so my bad. So he did acknowledge him not being there.
Yeah. And he was on IG Live, supposedly explaining the situation. But it was one of those things where he's like, I don't have to explain it to you, but he's actually sitting there explaining it for 20 minutes or whatever. Sounded kind of bitter. Was basically defending his legacy, saying I contributed to Nipsey and was there passing the torch to Kendrick, blah blah. But he didn't really get to the bottom of like why he wasn't there. He didn't really say like, oh, I was defending Drake or didn't want to be part of it. It was just a very vague rant. And the reason why I want to talk about it is, and I hear this from so many people online, they're like, they acknowledge how great of a lyricist he is. A lot of people say he's one of their favorite rappers, but for some reason, and he has, you know, some people would say 2 or 3 classic albums. Definitely not a bad album.
At least catalog. One classic album. Like you need to put that like in the Hall of Fame of rap albums.
Right, exactly. Yet every single person is like, he's not likable. He just seems unstable and attention thirsty or attention hungry. And I just, for the life of me, can't figure out why like it took a turn, because he should have been on that stage. He brought the West Coast back in the mid 2000s or whatever, but it seems like he's just like burned relationships or is just untrustworthy in some way. Like, I don't really get it.
Yeah, bro. I think it's the untrustworthy part, bro. Because again, I could be, bro. This is complete like assumptions, but I feel like he's the kind of guy who like was the one who was on for the longest, and then maybe when like others were trying to come up, like he was just trying to like take advantage of the situation, right? Because didn't you say like was it him or Dave East? But like, isn't he like a guy who's always like giving like features away online?
Yeah, on Spotify at least. Like I hear his recycled verse on like random rappers' songs.
Yeah, bro. So I feel like there has to be something about that. But like when he was at his peak, bro, like right post G Unit and stuff like that, I can see him like rappers coming up to him and him just not really helping them out the way they would like. But bro, there also has to be something to the effect. I don't think this has to do with anything with him being loyal to Drake, because I don't think that's a real fucking thing, bro. But you think the Rick Ross thing has something to do with it? Because Rick Ross was in that pit where like all the NBA players were at, which seems to be like Kendrick's section. So if Kendrick has Rick Ross there, and this dude just dropped a diss track against Ross, wouldn't it make sense for like him not to be there? Because isn't that Kendrick showing his allegiance like, yo, Ross is my guy?
I'm not too sure. It's tough to say when like so much could be going on behind the scenes. I mean, I would imagine Kendrick doesn't want to get involved in some random sporadic like side beef that's taking place. But I know apparently the verse that Drake gave The Game on that song 100,
Fire.
apparently that was like a favor. So I don't know if it's as big as The Game is so grateful for that moment or what, but it seems
that was because that was a moment where really the game was like taking a backseat to like everything that was happening in music, and like almost like Drake giving him like a lifeline, like like here's a fucking fire hook, like gotcha.
So that could be important to why, but at the same time, I feel like the game is like notorious for like knocking someone when they're already down. I guess not in this case with Drake, but like whether it's Meek Mill or Rick Ross, like the people that are kind of easy to pick on, seems like he has a tendency.
Has he ever done a song with Kendrick? Has that ever been a thing? Like, have we ever seen them together? Yeah, he has a
song with Kendrick, but that was like, I don't know, 2013 or some shit.
Got it.
So they definitely work together. I just feel like, I mean, I've heard that he's had issues with Dr. Dre, so that could have potentially prevented him from being there. But I don't know, the game just comes across as someone who, when it comes to personal and business relationships, is kind of finicky and unstable in a lot of ways.
Unstable, bro. Because again, I think the antics, bro. Again, I don't think Drake will ever get to that level because he's just obviously a way bigger persona and just like he has way more to lose in the game. But you think about it, when the game was going at 50 as the underdog, bro, everyone was saying GU not, bro. Like the same way we're doing OV Ho, like everyone was doing that. But then what happened? It got corny, bro. And this guy seemed like a fucking loose cannon. And then the music became like, I don't know, man. I feel like you kind of need a 50 Cent hook. You know what I mean? And then people just went, like, no one went back to loving G Unit. But it didn't become like this game, like, fucking let's build him up to be the next guy. Because antics matter, bro. Like, again, I feel like sometimes the antics, maybe it shouldn't, but like, bro, like if we're sus on the music, you can't then become like this fucking weirdo, right? And I think that's what the game is. Like, dude, I'm telling you, until you put that on the rundown, dude, when I watched that whole thing or when I watched the clips on Instagram, at no point was I like, where's the game?
Neither was I. And he used to be my favorite rapper. But it wasn't until people online brought it up. I'm like, oh shit, you're right.
Oh shit, yeah. And bro, I think the game had a great moment, right? But bro, I think history will tell that the game was just a moment in time. It wasn't like this era, right? Whereas like the Kendrick era, the Drake era, these are fucking years over years of being consistent with quality music and also like people just fucking with you to a certain extent, right? Like, dude, like I feel like by Game's second album, like, bro, people didn't really like him, right? We like, oh, this is so good. And like, One Blood's a banger, but it's like, bro, like you're still talking about 50 Cent. Like, bro, he's not even thinking about you, bro. Like, can you shut the fuck up? Like, I think all that stuff kind of matters, bro, because again, like as consumers, we're looking for everything, bro. Like if it was just lyrical, bro, we wouldn't be Kendrick and Drake fans, right? There's a 1,000 rappers in Chicago or whoever, bro, on a corner that are just lyrical that we would love. But we don't. We want all of it. We want bits of this, bits of that can make an entire like fire rapper. Once you start being a weirdo, bro, and the music's a little average, bro, we're done. And I think, again, dude, time tells that we move on with these artists all the time. Bro, Roddy Ricch, bro, fuck out of here, bro. Like we've moved on from him so quickly, like it's insane because at some point, like the music is just not there. And then like you're bitching about who didn't help you and this is like, bro, stop.
Yeah, no, it's tough. And it just kind of proves the point that, nothing lasts forever. I do think Kendrick and Drake are kind of too talented to meet that fate anytime soon. But,
like too big to fail, right?
Yeah, but I'm really curious, come 2030, what all of this is going to look like.
Yeah, bro. I'm hope we're good. Fuck them, bro. Like it's like there's moments where like we keep like. Side note, apparently, and again, I'm getting this. It was on CNN. So hopefully, it's a good source. But apparently, there was a Russian Navy ship, dude, right on the coast of Cuba, which is like 70 miles from Miami. So if they wanted to send a nuke to the States, bro, before I even was able to log on to my computer, I'm done. It's like, bro, like, I don't know if you feel it's like, dude, like, I have moments because I have like my vision board right here. So like I have moments where I'm very excited about the future and what it holds for me personally, like in us, like my friends and family, my wife and all that stuff. But I also have moments where like, bro, like I don't know if we even have a future. Bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, I definitely have those moments where I'm like, shit, I'm like, I could literally blow up right now. And what gives me hope is I feel like every couple of years we have these little like military scares where they're like, oh, North Korea is, doing this and that, and the world's gonna end tomorrow, and then nothing ever happens. But at the same time, I'm like, we've gone a long time where things have been like almost too peaceful in the US, like in terms of foreign affairs and stuff. So yeah, I'm just afraid we're gonna be in the history books, 100 years from now.
In a bad way.
In a bad way.
Yeah. In a bad way, for sure. We'll see, bro. Again, God willing, I feel like we're blessed. And again, I feel like if anyone deserves to have like, it's our generation that's lived through so many wild moments in time, bro. Like, bro, I don't know. Because when the housing crisis happened, where were you? You were like beginning of college or about to go to college?
Yeah, pretty much. Like right about to go to college.
Yeah, so dude, I was a sophomore, bro. So like essentially from the moment I'm an adult till today, what's that, 16 years, dude? You know how many fucking crazy fucking moments? So I feel like if anyone deserves a fucking fire 30 years, I feel like it's millennials who've been through a lot in a fucking short span. But yeah, bro, I had that thought like funny, like yesterday, bro. Like I was like, man, like I feel really excited about the future, but man, like there's moments where I'm like, should we just blow it? Like, should we just like fucking go and like blow all our money and go somewhere? Cause it's like, I don't really know. Like, dude, like the fact that we're even at, not to make it political, but like the fact that we're at like back to Biden and Trump, I'm like, bro, how is this our best? You know what I mean? Again, I know this is a very tired take, but bro, like there's no reason these should be our only two fucking options, dog. Like that's insane.
And it bothers me because I have like family members like on all sides who like are arguing for their man. I'm like, how do you like this guy or this guy? Like,
yeah,
both options just seem like it seems crazy to me that no one can, and no one, as in like the people I know personally, can be objective enough to be like, yeah, he's a horrible option, but like he's maybe the best of the worst. Like they're actually endorsing these people and saying like they're phenomenal, they've done this and that. I don't even believe they're even in control of half the shit they're doing. But to your point, I've been thinking about like retirement and stuff the past few weeks. And I'm like, shit, I might have to speed this up and retire in like 10 years because I'm not about to save up till I'm 75 and then fucking end up as a prisoner of war because North Korea is invading us or some shit.
Bro, and then this whole thing about like they're trying to pass this thing in the House that like 18 to 26-year-olds are being drafted again. I'm like, bro, are you fucked? Bro, like get out of here with this shit, dog. So yeah, like shit like that I'm like, man, like I don't know, bro. What kind of future we even? But again, I also think, again, we're exposed to way too much, right? Like that's the first end all be all. But there was versions of this that our parents also went through, right? Like, yeah. So I take peace in that. Like history repeats itself. But man, sometimes I'm like, dog, this shit's looking bleak, man. But all good, bro. All right, so let's get into Heat of the Week. I feel like we touched upon everything we could for Not Like Us, but if we missed anything, please let us know. If you haven't yet, I think it's not available on Amazon yet, but on YouTube, you can watch the full 3.5 hours of the Kenny and Friends pop-up show, which again, I agree with everything you said, bro. It was a really dope moment for LA. But I would say, bro, like not like removing, do you think Kendrick's a good performer? Removing the moment from it, like just a good performer on stage?
Yeah, I think he had the energy and just delivery that, in my personal experience, is above average, especially for a major artist. Because I don't see too many. I see a lot of backtracking and like saying every other 10th word and shit. I feel like he delivered.
Okay, yeah. I thought so. I was having doubts until he did the J-Rock song. Like when J-Rock did, I felt like until that point, it felt very like, I'm just going to stand here and like be like a backpack rapper and like, like a lot of hate.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you have a whole ass stage, bro. Like, you don't have to just like. But then, like, I think once J-Rock got there, maybe there's a sense of like, all right, this feels normal. Everyone's
Less
vibing. Let's just keep. Yeah. But I feel like, again, dude, he also probably had to perform in a minute, which is fine.
Yeah, or those songs before that.
Or those songs, sure. So maybe there's a sense of like not feeling comfortable yet. But yeah, initially I was like, bro, like this is kind of mid. Oh, that's what I initially felt. But then, dude, he found his flow. You saw online where apparently there was moments in Not Like Us where he was like trolling Drake for the Hotline Bling dance.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. So
I didn't realize that while watching either. But then I was like, oh, motherfucker.
Do you think that's a coincidence? Because I only ask because I see so many like reaches for other things. So I'm like, there's no way Kendrick planned that. But in this case, do you think?
I think there's other one. No, 100%. The dude, when the whole 616 and all those bulls, I think those were reaches. This one felt, dude, he did it every time, and like he purposely was doing it slow. So like you were forced to truly take it all in, pause, but like, yeah, like that one felt very much like on purpose. So
yeah,
which is fine, bro. Again, well, you're not going to show pictures of him and his white kid and his white mom, and when you're not doing the extra stuff that all hip hop artists have done before, you're able to, if the worst thing you're doing is mimicking his dance, like, bro, like that's fine.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Heat of the Week, episode 183. It's not going to be Not Like Us, shocker. But what is your Heat of the Week?
So I know what you're gonna choose.
You do,
but in this case, I'm actually gonna go with. So we interviewed this gentleman when I was at your place in Florida in 2021, I want to say, or maybe 2022. I forget. I think 2021. But his name is Dubwork. The song is called Organic.
Oh, wow. You went to Dubwork. You went to a Puerto Rican Dominican. I love it.
And what's dope about this song is I don't know if this is a coincidence, but it has a West Coast feel to it. Do you know Cardo, the producer? Cardo Got Wings?
No, I would have to hear a song like off top.
It sounds like a Cushion Orange Juice type beat.
Okay.
Like West Coasty. Something that Wiz Khalifa could be on, for instance. But I like it because it's very like smooth and jazzy, different from other stuff I've heard from him. But just a very well put together song.
Nice, dude. Yeah, so dude, you can. It's kind of a bitch for me to find it. Oh no, hold on, I found it. Organic.
Yeah.
Organic. Yeah, I found it. Oh, that shit just came out. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, dude.
So it's always dope to see our alumni continue to put out good music and growing. So yeah, that was a dope surprise.
Yeah, for sure. I'll peep that one out. Organic by Dubwork. If you haven't yet, go watch that interview. Really good interview. Yeah, I think it was like around. Yeah, you're right. It was like 2021 because that's when we just started doing interviews, right? That was like like post-COVID. Like we did our
one or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Shout out to him. That's awesome, man. I'll definitely go peep that. I mean, we have to say honorable mention to Parking Lot though with Mustard and Travis Scott though, right? For Heat of the Week. Like so we're not gonna add it to the playlist, but like you should be listening to that song because it seems that Mustard is setting himself up for a historic run. How do you think he did, bro, as like the MC of the event for like the second half? That's what it felt like he was, right? It felt like he was like, it almost felt like the Mustard show for like a good like 2 hour and a half stretch.
I thought it was dope because he had a crazy run. What was it, like the 2010s, like the first 5 years or some shit?
Which is ironic because I feel like Ballin' was like his last banger. But that song was only like 2 years ago.
Right. But it seems like nowadays he's like during that era he was kind of repurposing the same beat over and over. It felt like,
and I think people got tired of it. Like they were like, bro,
and he's doing more I don't know, expanding outside of the box that he was in. But I thought he did a great job, and hopefully I get to see him in Vegas when I do go there. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I might have to hit you up. I might have to like tag along for that. Mustard and Travis Scott, The Parking Lot. That one has the feeling of being like I feel like that one has to like kind of like mature a little bit and let it breathe, but that one has the ingredients to be a banger. I'm not there yet though. I'm like, I didn't repeat that one like a million times yet, but when I heard it a couple times at the gym, I was like, all right, I see what you're doing here. I respect it. But my hit of the week is someone that we've mentioned for a while, IDK, finally getting some love by the masses. So IDK has a song out with Gunna called Tiffany. Bro, these guys flow extremely well together. You would think they've done 100 songs together. Production wise was fire. I don't know. I don't know if we ever found out. I think IDK makes some of his beats. I don't know if he made this one particularly, but regardless, the beat's fire. The visuals for it are cool. And it's just dope for, again, we've been talking about IDK on the pod for a minute now, going back to his back in the day stuff with Offset. So yeah, it's just really cool to see him getting the notoriety that he deserves. Sorry, Jesus, by the masses. I promise this was a mocktail. There's nothing in this but like lemonade.
It's hilarious. Yeah, Turbo made the beat. Who I think makes.
Oh yeah, that's Gunner's DJ. That's he does. He does everything for Gunner. Yeah. But fire song. Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up. It sounded like they've been making records together forever because, it was just flawless. And I'm hoping. I mean, granted, Gunna's not held to the same. I don't know if standards is the word, but he's not as highly regarded by like the casual, or I guess we'll say like the internet thugs who hate snitches. So I hope that doesn't prevent IDK from getting the look that he deserves, because it's been forever. The Offset song, I don't think did what it should have.
What that song is, what that song is, it never did, right? I think it was, but it's so weird though, bro, because again, I follow IDK online, and bro, like this guy does like speeches for like TED Talks and like fucking Harvard, and I'm like, bro, you would think this guy's the biggest artist in the world, bro. Like,
right. But it's like these people who have the fan bases that matter, because when I went to his show, like people definitely showed up for him, and he recited the lyrics and everything. So even though he might not have the same look as other artists, I feel like he's one of those ones that'll just, kind of be around forever. Like you can tell he's smart and knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I think what comes across from all of his moves is like there has to be some kind of like business savviness. Maybe it's not him, maybe it's his team, but yeah, like the moves he's making not from music, you're like, bro, you would think you would have to be a much bigger artist. But I think your point of like, because you went to an IDK show, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I went to an IDK show that he opened for Pusha T, and like, bro, no one knew any IDK songs there. Like, I was fucking hyped to be there because I already knew him by that time, but like, bro, no one. So yeah, I think he's just very good at curating his audience. But yeah, a Pusha T audience is not an IDK audience. I realized that night.
Yeah, so we'll see what this song does. I'm excited for him. I feel like Gunna crushed his verse. Like if this was a Gunna single, I feel like maybe it
would have been bigger already.
Fuck you mean, but I feel like it would have been talked about a lot more than it's being talked about right now.
Yeah, but hopefully it does more. I mean, if the fact that Academics picked it up, I feel like he's only really talking about shit that like either is about to, blow up or is already there. So hopefully that's something for him. But yeah, man, that's the heat of the week. I'm excited to listen to that Dubwork song though, bro. I haven't listened to Dubwork honestly probably since we interviewed him back a couple of years ago. So yeah, man, cool. All right, bro, great episode. Love the jersey. Glad the dude. How often do you wear that jersey? Be honest.
Once every 2 years or something. I don't know.
Dude, because that shit is pristine. Because my Crenshaw shirt, bro, I had to donate it, bro, because after a couple washes, that shirt was not looking good.
What do you think it was the material? Like what about it?
I think it was
this shit feels sturdy.
Yeah, dude, but that's the jersey material though, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that t-shirt material that they use again at that time. Again, I know that brand has only gotten stronger amazingly after he passed away. But that material for that shirt wasn't it, dog. Like it wasn't. But like I watched it once and I'm like, fuck. But I kind of saved it. But like after like 2 or 3 washes, I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. And I always airdrop my shit and it still didn't last. But it sucks though, because dude, remember, go back to that time. Bro, it took us 4 months to get that shit. Like,
yeah.
bro, like,
I remember that every episode we were complaining. Like, I thought this shit was lost in some tornado or something on the way over. But
yeah, when we both finally wore our shit, I was like, oh, dude, finally. We've been trying to do this for like months to fucking pay homage. That was still pre-COVID, bro. Like, because Nipsey died March or April 1st,
March
2019.
Yeah,
bro. So it wasn't even because of COVID. It was just like, bro, we're like back ordered, which is amazing. Yeah. But I was like, bro, with my fucking shirt, like, bro, like, should I put like a claim in that they fucking stole my money? Like, I don't want to do that to them, but like, oh man, good times, bro. But let the people know what we got going on and where they can find episode 183.
Yeah, Zerk, catch us at audio-theory.com. New episode every week on all platforms. We also got the Apple Music and Spotify Heat of the Week playlists on the site as well. So be sure to check out the new Heat of the Week selections. Check down below for merch if you're on YouTube, or the website if you're not. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, comment, share, do what you can to support the channel.
Support the movement. Love you, bro. Talk soon.
Love you too.
Peace.